Shut the door. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is the structure of past perfect on the screen, which you can see. I have unmuted now. All of you, you can speak. In class, we completed past continuous. Am I right? Hmm. So here we have started past perfect. After past continuous, the next one is past perfect. The structure of past perfect is subject plus had plus V3 plus object. It is on the screen, you can see very easily. But before going to know about the structure, we will know the importance of this structure, importance of this pattern also. This pattern is usually not used for single action. Keep it in your mind. This pattern is usually not used for single action. Where there is a single action in a sentence, there you should prefer to use simple past rather than using past perfect. Is it clear to everyone? Huh. So always keep it in mind. When there is a single sentence in a sentence, don't try to use the structure of past perfect. You should prefer to use simple past. But when there are two actions in a sentence, in that situation, we use the structure of past perfect for that action which takes place first, and the last action means action which happens at last, that will take simple past. Try to understand. If in a sentence there are two actions, so of course the first action will take past perfect, and the last action means the action that happens at last, that will take simple past. I have written here some of the examples to make you understand. The first example: the patient had died before the doctor came. Let us observe the statement, observe the example. In the example number one, you will find that it is a single sentence, and in this sentence, there are two actions. How many actions are here? The first action is, no, no, what is the first action in this sentence? I'm not asking about structure. I am asking about action. Means dying of the patient is the first action, right? And what is the second action? Coming of the doctor is the second action, right? So in this sentence, we come to know two actions have been mentioned. In this sentence, there are two actions. The first action is the dying of patient, and the second action is coming of the doctor. Now you tell me which action takes first, coming of the doctor or dying of the patient? Doctor came after the death of the patient, right? So that is why I told you the action, the first action. So the first action is here the dying of the patient. So it will take the structure of past perfect. And the second action, that is the coming of the doctor. Doctor actually came after the death of the patient. So this is the second action. It happened at last. It will take simple past. So you can see here the structure has been used. The patient had died before the doctor came. डॉक्टर के आने से पहले पेशेंट मर चुका था. तो यहाँ पेशेंट का मरना पहले हुआ, डॉक्टर बाद में आया, तो जो एक्शन पहले होगा दैट विल टेक द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पास्ट परफेक्ट, और जो एक्शन लास्ट में होगा दैट विल टेक द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सिंपल पास्ट. Let us see another example. Example number 2. The train had gone before I reached the station. How many actions are here? Two. Really? There are two actions in this statement. Will you tell me which one is the first action? Going of the train is the first action. है ना? Going of the train is the first action. And what is the last action? My reaching. My reaching is the second action. तो अगेन द सेम पैटर्न हैज बीन फॉलोड. ट्रेन पहले जा चुकी है तो पास्ट परफेक्ट, और मैं लेट से पहुंचा, यानी मेरे पहुंचने से पहले ही ट्रेन जा चुकी थी, तो मेरा पहुंचना बाद में हुआ, तो इट विल टेक सिंपल पास्ट. द ट्रेन हैड गॉन बिफोर आई रीच द स्टेशन. तो इन दिस टू sentences you can see there are two actions, that is why past perfect has been used. Let us try to observe example number 3. He had already solved my problem. He had already solved my problem. In the first side, you will realize that there is the single action in this sentence. Right or wrong? Huh. But maybe there are some more actions here which is not visible. The word just like already, it shows that there may be another action also. For example, he had already solved my problem. वो मेरा problem पहले ही सुलझा चुका था. It means someone more who was also trying to solve the problem, which is not visible here. हो सकता है कोई और भी उसके प्रॉब्लम को सुलझा रहा था, लेकिन ही ने उसके प्रॉब्लम को पहले ही सुलझा दिया. That is why the word already has been used here. So in spite of having a single action in the sentence, it gives the sense of another action also. And this is the reason that past perfect can be used here. But if single action is visible and there is only single action in the statement, that time you should use simple past. Example number 3 I have written to make you understand its negative and interrogative. When we change it into negative, it becomes he had already not solved my problem. वो मेरी समस्या को पहले ही नहीं सुलझा चुका था. Had he already solved my problem? क्या वो मेरी समस्या को पहले ही सुलझा चुका था? Let us see the passive structure of past perfect. Object plus had plus been plus v3 plus sorry. Here you will read subject, not object. Okay, students, you can see in the passive structure by mistake it has been written object. At last, what should be written here? Subject. So you will correct it. You will not write object. You will write subject. Object will be at first. Object plus had plus been plus v3 plus subject. So as you know in passive what happens? First of all object is used. So our object is my problem. I have written my problem. Thereafter had already been v3 solved by him. He will be used in objective case. My problem had already been solved by him. मेरा प्रॉब्लम पहले ही उसके द्वारा सॉल्व किया जा चुका था. वन मोर मिस्टेक इज हेयर. माय प्रॉब्लम हैड ऑलरेडी बीन. Here the spelling mistake is B-double-E-N, but in place of that B-E-R-N has been written. तो you will correct it. ठीक है ना? हाँ, वो लिखने वक्त कहीं कहीं ऐसा मिस्टेक हो जाता. नेक्स्ट वन इज माई प्रॉब्लम हैड ऑलरेडी नॉट बीन सॉल्व बाय हिम. मेरी समस्या पहले ही उसके द्वारा नहीं सुलझाई जा चुकी थी. हैड माई प्रॉब्लम ऑलरेडी बीन सॉल्व बाय हिम. क्या मेरी समस्या पहले ही उसके द्वारा सुलझाई जा चुकी thi. This is interrogative sentence. The first one is affirmative, second one is negative, third one is interrogative. So this is the way of using past perfect. Very simple rule. If there is a single action in your statement, in your sentence, you should try to use simple past. If there are two actions, so for the first action, we will use past perfect, and for the last action, we will use simple past. Is it clear? Have you understood this structure now? Okay, well. Now, the next one, that is past perfect continuous. What is it? Past perfect continuous. Let us see the structure of past perfect continuous. Here the structure is subject plus had plus been plus before plus object plus since or for plus time. It is just like the structure of present perfect continuous. Do you think so? What is the difference between both of these structures? The structure of present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous? Yes, you are quite right. There is only one difference, that in present perfect continuous we used to have has or have. But here we have, in place of has or have, had. The remaining thing is the same. Good. Let us see what this pattern shows. This pattern shows that work had been going on continuously in past. ये pattern ये बताता है कि past में कोई काम लगातार होता आ रहा था. लगातार हो रहा था नहीं, होता आ रहा था. यानी कि काफी समय पहले वो शुरू हुआ था और चलता आ रहा था. इन पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस इट शोज दैट वर्क इज गोइंग ऑन कंटिन्यूअसली. उसमें सिर्फ ये पता चलता है कि काम चल रहा था. लेकिन पास्ट परफेक्ट कंटिन्यूअस ये बताता है कि काम होता आ रहा था. मीन्स इट स्टार्टेड समटाइम्स बिफोर एंड इट वाज स्टिल गोइंग ऑन इन द पास्ट. पास्ट में वो चलता आ रहा था. As far as since or for is concerned, so I have already discussed when I was teaching you present perfect continuous. Has anyone any confusion regarding since or for? Anyone? If you have, you can tell without hesitation. Will you tell me where do we use since and where do we use for? Yes. And for is used for? Very good. Can you give some example of since or point of time? Please give. Name of day. January, February, Sunday, Monday, today, tomorrow, yesterday, like that. Okay, very good. Uh, Please give me some examples of four also. Yes, yes. 2 hours, 3 hours. 4 o'clock. This is the example of since or for? Since. But 4 hours. This is the example of 4 hours. Four. Yes, this is the example of four. Quite right. Okay, well, let us see the examples. He had been creating problems for several months. वो कई महीनों से परेशानी क्रिएट कर रहा था. He had been creating problems for several months. Negative. He had not been creating problems for several months. Interrogative, had he been creating problems for several months? क्या वो कई महीनों से परेशानी क्रिएट कर रहा था? He had been creating problems for several months. वो कई महीनों से परेशानी कर रहा था. He had not been creating problems for several months. वो कई महीनों से परेशानी क्रिएट नहीं कर रहा था. Had he been creating problems for several months? क्या वो कई महीनों से परेशानी क्रिएट कर रहा था? So this is the example of past perfect continuous. Is it clear to all of you or anyone wants to ask any question? It is quite clear to everyone. Okay. Now I have given you only 5 questions. You can read. Change the following sentences into negative and interrogative. Here you are not supposed to change into passive voice. Here you are supposed to change into negative and interrogative. Can you do it? Okay, well.